They're like the old police guy.
A grown cat trying to rescue it.
Sorry to stop all the socializing, the fellowshipping. You guys all good for social? All right.
Come on.
I will officially call to order the City of Travelers Rest City Council meeting for Thursday, May the 15th. It's nice to see everyone here tonight. If you will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And Councilmember McCall, if you'll please pray for council.
I will. Heavenly Father, we just thank you today for all you do. Thank you for allowing us to be here together to take care of the city's business. Lord, just ask your hand upon it, your hand upon all of us, people that make the decisions. Lord, bless our town and all things we give you thanks for. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Wayne. All right, we'll move forward with our approval of our minutes from our previous meeting. Do I hear a motion for approval of our minutes from the council meeting on April the 17th?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, any edits, discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you for that. We have citizen participation, so Dylan Wilcox, if you want to come on up, we appreciate you being here. You have 5 minutes. You can address council, and thanks for being here, and thanks for also serving on our BZA commission. So.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Good evening, council members. My name is Dylan Wilcox. I'm a resident over at 2 Pecan Grove Court, South Creek, and I'm also the president of our homeowners association. And tonight, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about something that I'm very passionate about, and that is fiber optic internet, ISPs, and how they benefit our community. This journey kind of started for me way back when I moved to Travelers Rest 5 years ago. I've only been here 5 years, just a baby, and I was really trying to find some other kind of provider to come bring internet to South Creek, because we only had Spectrum, and Spectrum, that was the only option unless you wanted to have DSL from AT&T. And we started reaching out to AT&T. We never heard anyone. I wound up getting on our homeowners association as a treasurer. I continued to just advocate and get in touch with, like, hey, we need some upgrades here in our neighborhood. We don't have anything that's very reliable like a lot of this new fiber optic technology. And in the course of doing all that, I came across a press brief for a company called Lumos Fiber, and I saw that they were investing many, many millions of dollars into Greenville. And I raised my hand. I was like, hey, I have a neighborhood and probably like 15 people that are ready today to sign up for something different. And in that, I got connected with their director of market development. And we've been corresponding back and forth. He's a really awesome gentleman. And I've just been able to just help advocate for this technology. I think most people understand kind of what fiber optic internet is at this point. It is a little thin cable the size of a human hair with light that goes down, and it actually is theoretically capable in the future of transporting nearly 1,000 terabytes per second. So it's technology for the future, and that's going to be important as I bring things up as I go on. I've already mentioned fiber is more reliable. I have a lot of neighbors that they work from home, Spectrum goes down, their bosses get mad that they can't take phone calls anymore and that they're offline. And it could be offline for 6 hours. We had an outage for almost a day just last week with no storms from Spectrum. And again, that's our only option in South Creek is Spectrum, unless we want to do something over the air, which just is not comparable to anything that comes over the ground. Competition is important. Like I mentioned, Spectrum has monopoly. Down in Columbia, where my parents live, they just got one of these fiber providers. And when they got one of these fiber providers, they called into Spectrum and said, hey, they're doing $45 a month for basically the same thing that we're getting and paying you guys $124. I said, oh, well, we can match that. So competition. It provides competition amongst these other ISPs, even maybe in neighborhoods that AT&T may have already deployed our fiber, or deployed their fiber, rather. Now, the downsides of this technology, it's messy. Any kind of utility that you go in and put underground, they're going to find sewer lines, they're going to find gas lines, they're going to find irrigation, people's yards are going to get dug up, and there's going to be grass that needs to get put back. That's probably the number one complaint out of any of these things, is just how messy it can be when it's installed. And so you might ask, with that being as messy as it is, and we already having one option, why would we look at anything else? And one of those answers is something called the Telecommunications Act of 1996. I'm not an attorney, but essentially what that act says is that municipalities must manage their rights of way in a competitively neutral and non-discriminatory manner. So in plain words, it's not, you can't have just one provider if another provider wants to be able to come in and make that investment. But that's kind of where you have the option as a council to negotiate in franchise agreements and mitigate what they do. For instance, when you negotiate these agreements with these providers, you have the opportunity to just describe exactly how you want the permitting to be done. You have all the control over where they go and when. And so it's not like when you make one of these agreements, they're immediately going to go in and dig up Main Street in every single neighborhood. You still have that ability to say, hey, we're going to do a trial area over here. Let's see this area over here. Let's go ahead and do that one. I think some of these cities and municipalities make the mistake of not understanding that they have some of that control and just blanket approve everything. Utility locators go in really, really quick because they got so much ground to cover. They miss things, and that's how you wind up with some of these accidents. So to summarize, I don't work for Lumos or any of those companies like that. I'm just a really passionate person about technology, with my side businesses being all in technology and my day job being a software engineer, and just being somebody that really, really likes new technology and wants to help bring that to my community and my neighbors. So that's all that I have, and I hope that you learned something tonight and will help to make that agreement possible. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wilcox. We appreciate it. I appreciate you being an advocate for technology. I always learn things when I have a conversation with you, and just for council. Shannon and I will meet with Lumos probably end of this month and start talking about that. I think some other municipalities have tested them out as well. So thank you again. We appreciate it.
Let me add to that. You hit on 2 points, AT&T and UVerse. We already have, within certain neighborhoods, we have fiber optic already in certain neighborhoods here in Traverse Rest through AT&T. And their primary reason when they did it, and it's been at least 10 years ago, maybe 12 even, when they ran it, was for UVerse. They were going to take on all the big cable companies. Well, number one, they stopped taking on customers several years ago for UVerse. I had UVerse at one time. I did away with it and wanted to go back to it, but I couldn't do it, and I have it running right to my house. So it's the problem with that is AT&T. Now, I don't know how the franchise agreement works with AT&T, since nobody has landlines anymore. I don't know how that works, but there are certain neighborhoods within the city of Traverse Rest that already have the UVerse. I mean, have fiber optic through AT&T.
It's a good name.
One point that I found that was interesting, I did all this research. I've read all these other cities, Malden, Greer. I went through, I found their minutes and read, and that through this process, they discovered they didn't have agreements for their right-of-ways. AT&T and Spectrum. Opportunity for them to go negotiate those with Spectrum and AT&T, and they pay for access to right-of-way. That's not a lot. It's like $1,000 a year. But
well, I know we don't have it through the whole city, but there are certain neighborhoods that do have fiber optic. And like I say, it was originally installed just for UVerse, you know. And when they decided they won't be in the TV business anymore,
They got out
they
of
just
it.
kind of shut it down.
All right. Good note, Wayne. Thank you.
But it's available.
All right. Ordinances and resolutions for second reading. Brantley, who's the chair of that? Is that you, Kelly? All right. Let's go for it.
All right. I have a second reading of ordinance O-04-25. I would like to make a motion to consider at second reading O-04-25 zoning ordinance text amendment for Article 10. Do we have a second?
Second.
Just as a reminder, the City of Travelers Rest Planning Commission and staff is proposing several changes to the Travelers Rest zoning code in reference to tattoo shops. Within Section 5(1.3), by allowing the conditional use within the C2 Commercial Zoning District and removing it from the S1 Service Zoning District. Within Sections 517.2.E.1.C.I and 517.2.E.2.C.I. I think these are the same numbers 3 times. No, okay. 517.2.E.3.C.I by adding tattoo shops as a prohibited use. Within Section 624, by adding an additional requirement, tattoo and body piercing facilities may be located within 1,000 feet of any other tattoo and body piercing facility.
Okay, you've heard that motion in a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion carries. All right, thank you so much. Mr. Casey, I'm blanking on your last name, but thank you for being here and bringing your adorable family. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. All right, so now we move into our committee reports for those newbies that we have here tonight. On the week prior is when we have our committee meetings, and so this is kind of a summary of our conversations that we had. So we'll kick off with our Public Works Committee Chair Lane.
The Public Works Committee met May 5th and approved the April 7th minutes. United Way was scheduled for a workday on May 3rd. It was canceled, but they are working towards rescheduling. Director Tate is working to get the next glass recycling event scheduled for May. Once the date is formalized, it will be advertised. The planters built by Eagle Scout Oliver Tittle have been planted, and those will move to Main Street in about 3 weeks. There are still a couple of planters left to be adopted. And then hanging baskets are going up this week. New swings are being installed at the gazebo, and the gazebo planters will be replanted for spring.
Thank you, Chair Lane. Philip, I'm going to put you on the spot. When are our rabbits going up? I get asked that about 5 times a day now that we've debuted them. Okay. Great. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Public Safety Committee Chair Byers.
The Public Safety Committee met on May 5th and approved the April 7th minutes. The committee reviewed the following from the April Public Safety reports. For police, with the addition of new officer Morgan Smith, the police department is fully staffed. For fire, the department received a $13,050 grant from the state fire marshal's office. With this money, they will purchase turnout gear and medical bags that need to be replaced. For building, Administrator Herman noted that construction is steady with White Hawk Meadows, and there is a little pickup in commercial projects from Furman.
Thank you, Chair Byers. Now we have Planning and Development Committee. Co-Chair Byers.
Okay. The Planning and Development Committee met on May 5th and approved the April 7th minutes. Spring Park Development has started construction with 6 building permits being issued. White Hawk Meadows continues to move forward. The Refuge has a proof roll on Friday with paving starting next week. And the committee voted 4-1 against sending TR 25.03 rezoning annexation request for Ennet Altamont and the corresponding development agreement to council for consideration.
Thank you, Co-Chair Byers. Next, we have our Ways and Means Chair Baumgartner.
The Ways and Means Committee met May 5th and approved the April 7th meeting minutes. That concludes my report. However, we have received today, council should have received your April financial update. Are there any questions that need to be asked at this time? All right, hearing none, I am finished with that.
Thank you. It's budget season at the City of Travelers Rest, so we have ordinances and resolutions for first reading all around budget. And I know, Grant, you will say how much you appreciate our staff and Carson and Shannon and all the department heads, but it's kind of exciting. So we'll talk about budget things. I'll let you take it away with our first reading general budget.
All right, budget. As full council considers the new fiscal year 2026 city budget, I wish to extend to Carson Ruffage, our treasurer and finance director, and city administrator Shannon Herman, a great thank you of gratitude for all the extensive work you have put into investigating, retrieving, compiling, and reconciling all the budget data we have in front of us. Thank you both for your dedication and perseverance in continuing to work with us as we as council are charged with reviewing and accounting for the tax dollars our TR city taxpayers have paid for the operation of this city. As Ways and Means Chair, I again present to you a balanced budget for the fiscal year 2026 with no tax increase, showing $9,280,927 in anticipated revenues. The motion before council to approve this budget comes out of the Ways and Means Committee, which met on Monday and discussed the proposal. I also note that if it appears to the public that there is little conversation or discussion tonight, that we are rubber stamping the motion, the entire council, along with the committee members, met on Monday for almost an hour and a half in public discussion of nothing but the budget. This is not a quickly executed decision. And in fact, council must pass 2 readings of the proposed budget in order to legally adopt it. The first reading is tonight. Our second reading will be in June. Highlights of this fiscal year 2026 budget include the ad valorem motor vehicle tax revenue is projected to increase 2% over the fiscal year 25 amended budget. We are extending an across-the-board cost of living adjustment wage increase of 5% to all employees. The addition of a new firefighter, a new police officer, and 1 admin specialist. Automotive needs include 1 new fire truck, 2 police Tahoes, a service bed for the Public Works pickup truck, and an RTV for trail maintenance. Police cameras, body armor, dispatch chairs, and evidence refrigerator, and increased training is within this budget. A fire department air tank fill system is included. There's $40,000 for the business facade improvement grants, and it includes the transfer of $346,636 to Capital Projects Fund from excess general fund balance to complete funding for the Poinsett project. One note to make I missed at the committee meeting is that our sanitation budget, the line item tipping fee at the landfill, has been combined into the contract services line item fee because Greater Greenville Sanitation is rolling that all into our contract with them. Previously, we have paid that separately. The budgeted amount allows for an increase in the tipping fee for this year and for expected new rooftop growth. I remind all of us that a budget is a living and breathing document subject to being changed and amended at any given time. Indeed, this budget revenue estimates are conservative in nature because this current calendar year of 2025 is a Greenville County property tax reassessment year. Shannon, Carson, and I all believe estimating our revenues conservatively is the proper step for this particular budget. And if our projections end up being substantially lower than expected when the revenues actuals are in after the first of the year, council may certainly review the budget and make a budget amendment to accommodate any changes. Therefore, I present before council the City of Travelers Rest fiscal year 2026 general fund budget by making appropriations, levying taxes and fees for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026 to provide for budget control of said appropriations by the Travelers Rest City Council and such other matters related thereto effective July 1, 2025. There is hereby levied upon the taxable property within the city limits of Travelers Rest, South Carolina, for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026, an ad valorem tax of 88.9 on every dollar assessed valuation combined with other anticipated revenue accruing to the City of Travelers Rest shall be sufficient to produce $9,280,927 in revenues. In addition, the incorporated rate fee schedule is approved and fully set forth as part of the ordinance unless otherwise amended by City Council, and the incorporated capital improvement plan is approved and set forth verbatim as part of the ordinance unless otherwise amended by council. That is my motion.
You've heard that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, open up for discussion. All right, and this is just for the general fund, are we doing them all? Okay,
the
just for general fund, okay.
The rate fee schedule,
Okay,
capital improvement plan.
okay. Any questions for those three pieces?
Shannon, I just have one. I'm curious, so if Greenville County's budget changes, would that affect anything with us coming from them?
Councilwoman Mayor, I believe you're referring to the FILO agreement changes that have been discussed. We've done some research on that. In the past, we have received a significant FILO amount. Last year's was $400,000. This year, however, we only received $30,000. We are doing research as to what would have rolled off. If we were to have a large project that had received a FILO roll out of that time period and into ad valorem, that would also account for the excellent growth we've seen in the ad valorem over time. But if it's at 30,000, if that number is accurate, which we have no reason to doubt it's not at this point, then that would have very minimal impact on the City of Travelers Rest budget.
Thank you.
Good question.
That fee is a part of the ad valorem revenues that we receive also, and we're
Okay.
still projecting a 2% increase even if this
Overall.
were to happen.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
I feel like that it was really conservative with the figures, so I don't think that that will affect it because of the conservative nature of how they budgeted. What about Greenville sanitation? Sorry.
Councilmember Lane, it's a great question. In talking with Director Cole from Greater Greenville Sanitation, we are able to continue this year as normal operations. So what you see reflected in the contract services line is $12.50 for trash collection, plus $1.20 per household for tipping fee. There's a little growth in that tipping fee year over year, and we accounted for that in our amended budget last year. And then we add in the additional households we expect to roll on through the construction process this year. So all of that went into contract services. Next year, we will likely have to pick up an increase in that to come to the average rate that's paid. I believe that's going to be closer to $18 a house.
Thank you.
The problem we'll have for next budget period that we'll need to talk about as a council. Okay.
Correct.
But coming out of this, Greenville Sanitation is coming back to us with a brand-new contract for this coming year, which we've made accounts for.
Correct. We have that, that contract is an annual renewal contract. It renews as of July 1 every year. So this amount covers July 1 through June 30 of next year, and then we'll have time to discuss the implications going forward.
Thank you.
Any other questions? General fund budget, rate fee, CIP program? All right, all in favor? Okay, motion carried. Thank you, Grant. Next up, hospitality and accommodations.
Okay, the next three funds are all restricted funds, which means they all have their own individual budgets, and the monies have very limited and specific ways in which they can and may be spent. Guidelines for expensing the monies in these accounts are set by state law or local ordinance. The local hospitality tax is a tax collected by our restaurants on the prepared food and beverage they sell and is remitted to the city. Accommodations tax is collected by our hotels, motels, and B&Bs from the room rentals out to travelers. Those monies are also remitted to the city. These are separate funds and do not combine revenues or expenses. The Victims Advocate Fund may be only used for expenses pertaining to the employment of the victim's advocate who uses sources to assist those who have been affected by a crime. And the third, the Tree Mitigation Fund, is all about the city tree canopy throughout the city. It limits development by applying restrictions on the removal of trees from a development project and placing financial penalties on those trees removed. Funds are then expended back into maintaining our public tree canopy throughout the city in maintenance and new tree plantings. So, I present before council the local hospitality and local accommodation tax funds of the City of Travelers Rest. By making appropriations therefore, and to provide the budget control of said appropriations by the Travelers Rest City Council and such other matters related therefore, effective July 1, 2025, and ending June 30, 2026. Hospitality revenue, $1,465,168. Expenditures, $1,458,762. Accommodations revenue, $189,000 even. Expenditures, $175,500. That is my motion.
We have that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, open up for any questions on hospitality and accommodations tax fund budget. All right, all approve? Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, Victims Advocate Fund.
Okay. Presenting before council the physical affairs of the Victims Advocate Fund. I have a hard time saying
It is
that,
hard.
y'all.
It is hard, yeah.
Victims Advocate Fund of the City of Travelers Rest, making appropriations therefore and to provide the budget control of said appropriations by the Travelers Rest City Council and such other matters related therefore effective July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026. That is my motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion around the Victims Advocate Fund?
Now that we've said that, I'm going on. I would like to make an amendment to this fund budget to reflect the red-lined version at your desk you have in front of us. That is my amendment motion.
Okay. All right, do we have a second for the amendment motion?
Second.
A second. Any discussion on just the change
Yes,
for it?
there
Okay,
is.
great. Thanks.
Okay. Carson reconciled this account, the Victims Advocate Fund account, to find expenditures which were intended to be utilized from the account, only to find that they were not reflected in the actuals of the account. The 2026 figures now reflect the correct balance forward amount is shown, which reduces the fund revenue availability. So we had to amend the expenditures line items as shown, which is why the red lines are there. So rather than, let me explain it, say the prior year balance forward under revenues, we thought was $35,000 after she reconciled it to only find it's $25,000.
Okay.
So that all then needed to change our expenditures so that we're all within budget.
So $10,000 change for,
$10,000 change
great.
on the revenues, yes.
all right. Any additional questions on the amendment for the Victims Advocate Fund? All in favor? Motion carries on the amendment. And then do we have any further discussion on the overall fund? All in favor of the with ordinance, or I'm sorry, hold on. Amended, yes, amended budget. Okay, all in favor? Thank you very much. All right, next we'll do the tree mitigation fund.
Presenting before council relating to the physical affairs of the Tree Mitigation Fund of the City of Travelers Rest, making appropriations therefore and to provide the budget control of said appropriations by the Travelers Rest City Council and such other matters related therefore effectively July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026. That is my motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion around our tree mitigation fund for this coming year? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you for that. Last, general obligation bond.
Finally, the general obligation bond presenting before council the City of Travelers Rest fiscal year 2026 before council relating to the fiscal affairs of the general obligation bond of the City of Travelers Rest, making appropriations therefore and not to exceed $210,000 on behalf of the Travelers Rest City Council and such other matters related therefore, effectively July 1, 2025, and ending June 30, 2026. That's my motion.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Catherine. Any further discussion around general obligation bond?
This is for the renewable bond that we do yearly for the construction of this city hall that we are currently sitting in.
And Shannon and I had discussed too of having, I'm blanking on the name of our bond broker.
First Tryon, and our bond attorney is Brad Love.
Yeah,
with Haynes
maybe
Rock.
they could come and just give us a bond 101. I think that's helpful for council every couple of years, just to remember where we're at and what we're paying for, and so that might be helpful in the next coming weeks. All right, any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Grant. Appreciate it. Great job, team. Thank you. And we will have our second reading next month. Old business, we have none. New business, we have none. Miscellaneous matters, our administrative update. Shannon Herman.
Thank you, Mayor Amanon. A few good things going on in town. TR is in bloom. Our hanging baskets have been installed around the gazebo. Our new swings are in place at the gazebo. Rabbits begin going out on Monday. And also this Saturday is a work day at Athens Park with Trailside Church. Volunteers will be installing 4 raised garden beds and a walkway at the picnic shelter. So more work going on there. I do want to give you a Poinsett Highway construction update. Work progresses, and we are to the final component of the Tubbs Mountain to Hart Street phase of this construction. The final component is to tie in the ends. So the work has been done in the middle, but if you'll remember, this is a concrete road. It's very old and has to be dug down significantly to remove first the concrete, then put in the appropriate stormwater management. So there's a significant grade drop on both sides that has to be done to tie in. So this phase is probably 2 to 3 weeks, probably closer to the 3 weeks, and expecting wet weather, just as we've had it recently, to complete this work. In front of you is a traffic plan, rerouting plan. This is not different than what we've had in the past, but it's rolling again to the other side. So right now, traffic is moving in the southbound lane. We'll go back to moving in the northbound lane. The concrete dividers that are up right now will be removed, and they will just go to barrels. Philip is getting with Loftus Printing, and we will print at the city's expense signage with the business logos and names and specific directional routing. What you see in this document is the driveways open for all businesses while this work is being done. We recognize this as a massive inconvenience to those who are in the road now, and we apologize for the inconvenience, but we do hope that as you see the road work come underway, that it is going to be significantly improved in both safety and function as we go forward.
Do we have a timeline of when the light might be installed at Tubbs Mountain?
I was talking with the contractor out on the street today, and that's going to be the last phase of it. So after these 3 weeks of this phase, he'll kind of flip across Tubbs Mountain and do the work that we've done on this side. He'll do it on the second portion of it, and then at the end, come back and complete the Tubbs Mountain intersection upgrade there.
Okay, thank you.
We're still thinking end of year for all the things. Okay.
It's actually probably going to be, by the time you get it fully open, I think we were projecting the beginning of next year, so February, March-ish.
Right. Thank you.
Will you announce the change in direction of the lanes for this next phase?
Councilmember James, yes, we continue to have that conversation. So part of this is the complexity of the project. So sometimes they're studying it as they're completing it. So we did ask for more advance notice than we've had now, but to their credit, they envisioned originally just closing portions of the street, which we have, obviously pushed back on very strongly to say we have to have the businesses open at all times. So that is part of the difficulties here. However, that being said, we are pushing for a full month look ahead every month, and hoping to get that out as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you need to put some council members in a car and us drive around, and Shanice could tell us, we could do some videos, some YouTube videos. This is how you get to the local businesses. That might be fun.
That's a great idea.
Right?
We still have to do the roundabout video.
I know. Kelly's supposed to do the roundabout video, yeah. All right, does anyone on council have anything for the good of council?
I just want to say, 21 years ago, we moved here and we didn't even have charter on our street in a subdivision. We had no internet
a long
access
way.
at all. We've come a long way, TR.
I love that. I love that.
Your neighborhood, yeah. We did not have, for at least 2 years.
I will back that up, because when we closed on our house, they mentioned they just got internet the month before, and I was like, I didn't know that was a question to ask, but
Yeah, we didn't either. We didn't
Now
either.
we know. All right, anyone else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
I was gonna say, you had it on your side. We don't have it.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Well, just had it on your